everyone. I'm blessed to be here with you today. My name is Denise Morales, and I'm a mental health counselor. I am with Be Nurtured Mental Health Services. So we provide counseling support services for community members. I have my nonprofit sector under this, so we have podcasts, we also have community events, group sessions, and so any way we can support the community, I am here for you. If you are interested in any particular topic that we didn't address today, but you kind of want to figure out how we can work it in, if you got something going on, we can talk about it. But today we're talking about embracing the aging journey, your mind, body, and mental health. So whenever we talk about our mind and then what's going on around us and our bodies, sometimes we feel that these things are separate, but today we're going to learn about how all of these things are pretty much conjoined, but we are even going to bring up some of the science behind it so we can understand the importance of acknowledging some of the things that come up from our mental health when it comes to our mind and our body. So understanding aging and body told me, Denise, I just feel like my mind is racing. I am the rabbit, ready to gun it. I'm ready to go, but my body is the turtle. I can't move how I used to. I can't do the things that I used to. And it created a lot of frustration. And so we have to work, because there tends to be a disconnect whenever we find ourselves that our mind is in a different space compared to our physical abilities. We tend to have a disconnection, and that disconnection shows up in different ways, like frustration, anger, sometimes anxiousness, depression, sadness. A lot of things tend to come up just because our mind and our physical body are not aligning to our capabilities. And we're like, well, I used to be able to get up and go. I used to be able to do this. And some of those things keep us in a space in our minds where we're frustrated about the capabilities that have changed. So I want you to take a moment as a personal reflection and think about what changes have you noticed in the past 5 years, and how did you adjust to those changes? So take a moment, take a deep breath, and think the last 5 years, what's been going on in my life? And I want us to have an honest discussion about those changes that have happened in our lives the last 5 years. So if you're willing and able to, I'm willing to hear you out. Is there anybody that would like to share about any physical changes, mental changes that have happened in the last 5 years that have been life-altering for anybody here? Yes, ma'am.
Mine would be dealing with my mother and serving as a caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
That has been such a life change for me.
Yeah.
And it did take a while for
Mm-hmm.
me to work through that challenge. I'm still working through it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and having support has been the biggest, not crutch, but the biggest thing that has helped me work through it. Because although I'm saying I trust in God, and I ask the Lord, well, I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
But it still makes a difference when you have a support system. Because God is not afraid of our questions.
Amen.
But we forget sometimes the help that we need, and that was my biggest challenge.
Yes. And thank you for sharing that. Sometimes we don't acknowledge the caregiver fatigue of individuals that come and lend us help, and sometimes they themselves get to points of burnout, frustration, as well, trying to assist and manage their own personal lives, but also caring for someone else. Caregiver fatigue does tend to happen. So having that support is important. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Even me. I mean, I'm used to getting around, doing everything, doing what I'm supposed to do now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do anything. It upsets me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm used to climbing on ladders, putting my light bulbs in and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And when my daughter see me done, she just be looking at me. Well, that's what I want to do. You know, but my mind say I can, but my body don't let me no more.
Mm-hmm. I feel you on that one.
But I ain't going to stop at that. I'm going to keep trying to do it.
Uh-huh. And so we always push the limits, and then sometimes we hear our kids trying to parent us back, talking about, Mama, get off that ladder. Mama, go sit down. And so we do tend to hear those things, and that frustration is where you mentioned of that mind and body disconnect of like, I know that I can, I know I have the energy, but my body's just not there for me to produce that level of work the way that I used to. So take that personal reflection with you and the adjustments that you have, and keep those in mind as we go throughout today's presentation. So the disconnection between the mind and the body. So mental disconnection can lead to frustration, anger, sleep issues, sadness, and anxiety. And sometimes when we talk about anxiety and depression, it's common for us in this older generation to hear, well, that wasn't a thing. And sometimes we need to hear the symptoms before we disqualify that it is an actual thing that sometimes we're facing. So anxiety can tend to look like fast heart palpitations, you're sweating in your night sleep, you're having trouble going to sleep, maybe you're having night terrors, you're constantly waking up. Sometimes it can look like physical ailments where your body is aching. For depression, maybe you're having a hard time getting out of bed. Mentally, you're feeling very sluggish, fatigued, anger, frustrated. That is some of the symptoms that come along with some of these topics of anxiety and depression. So I want to introduce to you this model. It's called the biopsychosocial model. So biological, we're talking about like our physical body. So here is like our gender, our disabilities, our physical health, our neuroplasticity, so our minds. Maybe you're taking medication, maybe you have diabetes, maybe you have thyroids. And so here I want you to think about the makeup and composition of your physical body, the things you're able to do, some of the ailments or some of the health benefits that you have. This is in our biological bubble. Next to this is our psychological bubble. This is our behaviors, our personality, attitudes, belief, our learning, coping skills, mechanisms, our self-esteem. And lastly, our last bubble is our social bubble. This is education, social support, peer relationships, financial, work, some of these things. And so whenever we think like, oh no, I've been having a broken leg, but that ain't got to do with why I'm ignoring everybody. But sometimes we fail to recognize how these things are interconnected with each other. So biologically, I want you to think, okay, I've been dealing with a broken leg, I got put in a cast, I've been having to take pain medication. That means every day for the last couple weeks, I've been in chronic or severe pain. And that means that my attitude hasn't been the best psychologically. I just have not been the best. My attitude has not been the best. And then socially, I just kind of want to separate from everybody because I don't want to hear it. I want to keep myself closed in. And so these things tend to be interconnected. So whenever you want to do a point of reflection about your mind and body disconnect, sometimes it's good to sit down and put all of these as a map. So think about it of like, okay, I really haven't been feeling well. How am I check in with yourself? So this is what we're doing. So biologically, what do I have going on? So take a moment and think. Biologically, what's going on with my body? Am I eating good? Am I not eating good? Am I dealing with a certain ailment? Psychologically, because of this, has it been affecting me? So think about it for a moment. And then socially, has it impacted you? Okay. And then, does anybody want to share how they've recently gone through anything? I know we did a personal reflection of things they have gone through in the past 5 years. Would anybody like to share of how they've seen that play out in the biopsychosocial model, where you possibly had an ailment, it has affected you psychologically, but then has also had effects in your social circles? Yes, ma'am.
My situation was that I broke my hip
Mm-hmm.
in an accident, and so that it relates to everything almost that you have been saying. Mm-hmm. And then what other people say, the first thing a lot of people thought, well, you're old and you've broken your hip, so you're gonna die. Mm. And people even said that to me.
Yeah.
But then I said, well, no, I don't know why I have to die just because I broke my hip. Mm-hmm. But you do have a lot of problems and a lot of situations, and it's not a lot of pain that I'm going through now, but it's still a hip situation.
Yeah.
It's still healing. mind and everything.
Yeah.
So it's please don't waste it.
Yeah. And if you, yes, and if you don't mind me asking, when did this incident happen?
It's been a year.
A year.
A year?
1 year.
Yeah.
1 year.
And when you reflect back on where you were those first couple weeks post the accident to where you are now, what can you tell us about that journey?
Repeat your question.
If you can reflect back on where you were the weeks after your incident to where you are now mentally, what can you tell us about your journey?
Okay, well, I think I'm still making progress. I'm not where I used to be, but I'm still getting there, working on getting there. And it does affect you. I guess I know because of my age that this does affect a person.
Yeah.
And most people think that you break a hip or something, that's the end of it. But for me, it hasn't been, but I'm still getting there, still working on it and getting there.
Yes.
I haven't relapsed or anything, but then there are some things that I'm doing, I'm not doing more or less. And I just decided just this week I'm going to have to start doing better.
Okay. Yes. And
Try to get back to where I was.
I got you.
And it's hard. It really is. And it's not that it's painful. It is kind of painful sometimes.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know if the weather has something to do with it, but I
Yes. And thank you for sharing on the journey you've been having and since that incident, and a lot of the things that tend to come up with that. And sometimes it's the physical disturbance, the sleep that we're losing from the pain, and having to now take pain medications for the incident and having to keep up with some of these things. And then we have to think about what is in our toolbox for coping tools and mechanisms to help us build that resilience to get through those difficult times. When we do have an injury, when we do have an ailment, what's going to keep us from relapsing, maybe even emotionally, because we know the bad days and we know the good days. And sometimes that can even keep us from coming into the Lord of the house. And so we got to be here, we got to be present. And sometimes, like you mentioned, I want to get back to it. And sometimes when we mention getting back to it, we think about, I need to go back 100%, but sometimes it's just a little step forward. Sometimes maybe today it is, and I've been stuck inside the house, I'm gonna go sit by the window, or I'm gonna put the chair outside the porch and I'm gonna just sit there for a little bit. Try to do something a little bit different. Maybe it's not completely altering to how you were doing things, but just a little step forward that it's a different adjustment can continue to make a difference in your life. And so I want to talk about neuroplasticity and movement. So neuroplasticity, when we think about this, is like the brain connection of allowing you to sometimes regain information, keep your memory, keep you active, keep you moving, but the brain is adaptable. Physical movement stimulates neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself. So when we think about, I'll just stay here in bed, sometimes we're keeping ourselves from really helping our mind out and helping ourselves get to a better spot. So exercise increases brain-derived neurotrophic factors, which supports learning, memory, and emotional regulation. So think about some of the times where maybe I took a swim, maybe I went for a walk, and whenever I got home, I felt good that I went out and did that activity, or maybe that I just even got out the house and did something a little bit different. Movement in itself can help you make you feel better. So mobility helps reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety by improving brain chemistry and releasing endorphins and dopamine. Sometimes we say, oh man, all that stuff, that's emotional. But sometimes there's chemical imbalances in our bodies that lead us to be anxious and depressed. So sometimes we need to think about this in the scientific level of why we're feeling the way we're feeling. So I want to break down a little bit about what are endorphins and dopamine and the brain's natural feel-good chemicals. So the dopamine hit, this is our feel-good, our rush, this is what it is. So endorphins, What are they? Natural painkillers produced by the brain and nervous system when they are released during physical activity, laughter, meditation, deep breathing, and even eating something you enjoy. And we do love good food over here. What they do, they reduce our pain, they boost our mood, create feelings of well-being and euphoria, so our runner's high. And why does it matter for our seniors and our elders to get moving? Gentle movement like walking, stretching, or dancing can increase endorphins and actually reduce stress and physical discomfort. So when you think about, man, I've been kind of down in the slumps, what do I need to do? Put on a song for 2 minutes. Even if it's in your chair, put it on, go ahead and dance. Go praise and worship, and you'll see where we are after those 2 minutes. Get a good laugh, call a good friend, call a good neighbor, call a good sister, and get a good laugh in. Some of those things are very therapeutic for the soul. Dopamine, what is it? A neurotransmitter, chemical messenger that plays a major role in motivation, pleasure, and reward, focus, and mood regulation. When it's released, when you accomplish a goal, enjoy a good meal, hear music you love, connect socially. And so sometimes if you feel like you kind of been lacking or haven't been seeing the progress, write down a to-do list at the top of your day, whenever you're sitting down, of things that are manageable for you to do, even if it's something small, like I just want to load the laundry, I just want to clean up this small medicine cabinet, or I want to make my bed for the day. And as you're going about your day, check off your to-do list, and you'll get like a natural dopamine hit of like, I feel accomplished. Even though it's small, even though it seems, man, I could have been doing that. Try it out, see how it works. So here's my conclusion and encouragement for you all. I think it skipped a slide. There we go. So I definitely wanted to do this with y'all. This is a body scan. Are any of y'all familiar, I know it's been a while, but with Little John the rapper? Do y'all remember him? His name was Little John. He has now gone into his personal healing era. So he no longer screams at the microphone talking about, yeah. But now he has made a meditation album. Let me see. And he has this one that I like. It's called Body Scan. And he has other guided meditations that I really like for grief, for anxiety, for if you're having disturbances sleeping. So guided meditations is pretty much a person talking to you while you're hearing an audio with mellow music in the background to kind of help you get into the mood or get you to go to sleep or get you to mentally reflect on something. And so here, I just want to give you a little bit of an example so we can kind of hear what this is about.
When it comes to video creation, every detail matters. I go to artlist.io for music that
This is not part of the guided meditation.
The mind and body are connected. If the mind is racing but the body is at peace, this can be a source of disharmony.
So I want you to close your eyes for a moment and just listen.
Every once in a while, we need to focus on calibrating our mind and body. A body scan is a great way to experience your body from the inside and tune into its subtle sensations. Let's start by taking a few deep breaths and allow these breaths to carry you through the entire experience of this meditation. Up to your shoulders and neck area. This is an area where we hold a lot of tension. Try to soften these areas. If you're feeling tension in this area right now, that's okay. It just means that there's something there to work on.
Thank you for participating in that. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to get recentered. But I want you to think, usually whenever we're stressed out, where do you hold that in your body? Shoulders? Neck? And so sometimes whenever we think about that disconnect that we're having, we tensen up our bodies even more. And sometimes it creates even more tension. So something like a body scan can mentally kind of help you be present and also create just like a mental movement of release of that tension that you're holding in your body. But how was this guided meditation for y'all? Raise your hand if this was the first time you're ever listening to something like this. But how was it? It was good. Yeah, so when... Yes, that's awesome. And so these are available on YouTube, so you can pull them up at any time. But definitely think about what it is that you need to help yourself. One thing is to know that you have a problem, but do nothing to find a solution. So we have to be solution-minded and focused whenever it comes to the problems we're having, to at least help us push forward mentally, try to find a way to help us physically. So think about what helps you get motivated, and if you need help figuring that out, we can figure it out with you. You're not alone. And so just remember that aging brings challenges, but also wisdom and a lot of strength. Staying active, connected, and mentally attuned is key. And just so kind of like a final prompt, what is one small step you can take today to take care of your mind and body? I think today you did a great job. You showed up today. I'm really proud of you today. You showed up here today. You try to figure out what it is that I need to do. You'll probably leave with a little nugget. Maybe tomorrow you want to take a little bit longer of a shower. I usually tell my people, when you go to the shower, do you just get in and get out? Or are you taking your time, kind of letting the water soak in on you, taking a deep breath, taking it a time of reflection? Even when I'm washing dishes, use that as a time of reflection. So sometimes we just need to take things a little bit slower and help our minds process a little bit. But is there any questions? Alrighty. So thank you so much for sticking through with me. Here's my contact information if you want to take a picture of the screen or anything. This is my link tree, but here to service you and whatever you need help with, or if you need resources, I'm more than willing to provide you some support and love. Thank you so much.